A team of researchers tracked 33,000 people, and they found something that breaks almost every piece of walking advice you've ever been given. People who walked briskly for just 15 focused minutes a day had close to a 5-fold lower risk of dying early, compared to people who logged the same distance, or even more, by shuffling around all day and scattered steps. Same number of steps, almost 5 times the difference in outcome. If you've spent years chasing 8,000 or 10,000 steps on your watch, treating every step as equal, this is the moment to stop and ask, what if the number on your screen has been measuring the wrong thing the entire time? Here's what almost nobody tells you about walking. Your body doesn't have a step counter. It has no idea and no way of knowing whether you've taken 4,000 steps or 14,000. What your body does track, constantly in real time, is effort, heart rate, oxygen demand, muscle tension, and below a certain threshold of effort, your body treats movement as background noise. It doesn't adapt to it. It doesn't build from it. It just happens, and then it's over. This is why so many people walk every single day for years and see almost nothing change. Not their blood pressure, not their blood sugar, not their energy, not their waistline. They're not lazy. They're not doing it wrong in the way they think. They're walking below the line where the body says this matters. Adapt. A separate line of research, this one from Cambridge, looked at over 25,000 adults who were largely sedentary and found that adding just 11 minutes a day of moderate activity, moderate, not light, was linked to a meaningfully lower risk of early death from heart disease and several other causes. 11 minutes, not 2 hours. Not a gym membership. 11 minutes done at the right intensity was enough to move the needle on mortality risk in people who'd been doing almost nothing. So the question isn't how much are you walking? The question is, are you ever walking hard enough, for long enough, to cross the line your body actually responds to? For most adults over 45, the honest answer is no. And there are 3 specific reasons why. Each one rooted in how your body actually works, not in willpower. Root cause number 1. Your body doesn't count steps. It counts thresholds. And most walking never reaches one. Think about how you'd build a stronger grip. If you squeezed a soft foam stress ball 10,000 times a day, your hand would get tired, sure, but it would never get stronger. Now imagine squeezing a firm rubber ball 50 times, hard enough that your forearm actually feels it. That's the stimulus that tells your muscle, we need to be stronger than this. Walking works the same way. A slow stroll where you could comfortably hold a phone conversation the entire time is the foam ball. 10,000 reps of it changes nothing. A brisk walk where you're breathing harder, where talking in full sentences gets a little difficult. That's the firm rubber ball. That's the signal. This matters more after 45 because your cardiovascular system becomes less responsive with age. It takes a slightly stronger signal to trigger the same adaptation that used to happen automatically when you were 25. So the walk that used to be enough, the easy loop around the block, quietly stops being enough, often without you ever noticing, because it still feels like exercise. It feels the same. It just isn't doing the same thing anymore. Root cause number 2. Mitochondrial decline, and why your cells are running on fewer power plants than they used to. Every cell in your body has mitochondria, tiny structures that turn food and oxygen into usable energy. Think of them as power plants for a city. When demand for electricity in a city stays low and constant, the city doesn't build new power plants. There's no need. But when demand spikes, a heat wave, a surge in usage, that's when a city is forced to expand capacity. Your muscle cells work the same way. Mitochondrial biogenesis, the process of building new mitochondria, is triggered by demand spikes, not steady, low-level activity. Research on aging muscle tissue consistently shows that mitochondrial density and efficiency decline with age, and that this decline is a major driver of the fatigue, slower recovery, and metabolic sluggishness so many people over 50 just accept as normal aging. But here's the part that gets left out. Low-intensity movement, no matter how much of it you do, doesn't create the demand spike needed to reverse this. Brisk walking that genuinely elevates your heart rate for sustained minutes, does. It's one of the few stimuli at this age that reliably tells your cells to build more power plants instead of slowly closing them down. Root cause number 3. And this is the one that connects directly to blood sugar, weight gain around the middle, and the energy crashes so many people over 50 deal with every single afternoon. When and how you walk relative to your meals changes what your muscles do with the glucose flooding your bloodstream. Picture a grocery store at 5 o'clock on a Friday. One checkout lane is open and the line stretches to the back of the store. Now imagine the manager opens 4 more lanes. The same number of customers gets through in a fraction of the time, with no chaos. Muscle contraction does something remarkably similar inside your body. When your muscles contract, like they do during a brisk walk, they open up additional pathways, called GLUT4 transporters, that pull glucose out of your bloodstream and into the muscle, completely independent of insulin. This means a walk taken in the window after a meal isn't just extra exercise. It's actively opening more checkout lanes at exactly the moment your bloodstream is flooded with glucose from the food you just ate. Skip that window, and your body has to rely far more heavily on insulin alone to clear that same glucose. And insulin becomes a less efficient checkout lane with every passing decade. This single timing shift is one of the most underused tools in blood sugar management for adults in their 50s and 60s, and it costs nothing and takes no equipment. So here's the protocol. 4 steps, based on everything we just covered, that you can start today. Step 1. Walk briskly for at least 11 minutes, every single day, at an intensity where talking in full sentences becomes noticeably harder, but you're not gasping. This is your non-negotiable floor. It's based directly on the Cambridge research showing this dose alone was linked to a meaningful drop in early death risk, even in people who'd been almost entirely sedentary. Step 2. Take a 10 to 15-minute walk within 30 to 60 minutes after your largest meal of the day. For most people, that's dinner. Same pace as step 1. Brisk enough that conversation takes a little more effort. This is when you're opening those extra glucose checkout lanes right when you need them most. Step 3. Twice a week, turn one of your walks into a simple interval session. Alternate 3 minutes at a brisk pace with 1 minute at an easy recovery pace, repeated for about 20 minutes total. This is what pushes you past the threshold needed for mitochondrial biogenesis, the demand spike your cells need to start building new capacity again. Step 4. Stop tracking steps and start tracking effort. Use the talk test. If you can sing, you're going too slow. If you can speak only in short phrases, that's your zone. If you wear a heart rate monitor, aim for roughly 60 to 70% of your estimated maximum during these walks. The number on your step counter tells you almost nothing about whether any of this is working. The way you feel mid-walk tells you everything. Now, 2 mistakes that quietly keep people stuck, even when they think they're doing everything right. The first is treating every walk the same, regardless of pace, logging miles or steps without ever asking whether the effort matched the goal. A 30-minute stroll and an 11-minute brisk walk can produce wildly different outcomes for your heart, your blood sugar, and your mitochondria, even though the stroll feels like more. The second is inconsistency disguised as flexibility, walking hard on good days and skipping entirely on bad ones, so the body never gets a steady enough signal to actually adapt. The research behind these numbers wasn't measuring occasional effort. It was measuring daily, repeated signals. Adaptation is built on repetition, not on your best days alone. So here's your action plan. 1. Tonight, after your largest meal, take a 10 to 15-minute walk at a pace where talking feels slightly harder than normal. 2. Tomorrow morning, do your 11-minute brisk walk. Set a timer if you need to, but hit the full 11 minutes at that same effort level. 3. Pick 2 days this week, not back-to-back, and add the 3 minutes on, 1 minute off interval pattern for 20 minutes. 4. Put your step counter away for 1 week and instead, after every walk, ask yourself one question. Did talking get noticeably harder during that walk? If the answer is no, that's your sign to pick up the pace next time. If this video gave you something new to think about, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We cover the health topics that don't fit in a 10-minute doctor's appointment. And visit healthhustleacademy.com, We've put together the exact supplement stack and lifestyle tools we talk about in our videos, all in one place. Links are in the description below. Take care of your body. Nobody else is going to do it for you.